So here we are, my former high school, Santa Susana High School. It's been 20 long years since I first came here, which was also the same time when Santa Susana High first opened its doors. I was here from 1996 to 2000 when I graduated. I know previously that this school used to be a junior high school known as Sequoia Junior High. I just dropped by for a trip down memory lane. I'm pretty sure much has changed since I last left. Over here we have the library. I do remember that every time after lunch I would drop by the library because reading was one of my favorite hobbies since childhood, and it still is. And over here we have the outdoor stage. I do remember that during PE class in '97 I had the one chance to try fencing over here with another student. The score was 3-1. Of course, I was the one who lost because I was never really good at fencing. We also had our graduation out here during nighttime. It was such a wonderful experience. Also, the class of 2000 probably had the best prom ever. I mean, Blink 182 came to our prom. Even the principal at the time, Patricia Hauser, jumped in on the bandwagon. I mean, that was such an incredible experience. You just can't top that. Now, for sure, these buildings were not around during the time I was here. But that building was. I remember during PE class, we went in there for weightlifting. I'm not sure if it's still, a place for weightlifting. I'm sorry, I'm bad with words. But I'm gonna take a look inside the window just to see if I can get a peek inside. It still is. As a matter of fact, much of the equipment I remember is still there. Like this one here that is closest to the window. I sure do enjoy weightlifting. As a matter of fact, PE class was my favorite class because I had a lot of fun trying out many different sports, even if I wasn't good at them. The one exception, however, was soccer. And that's mainly because I'm not even good at kicking the ball or keeping up with the rest of the team. That was the one reason. I mean, that was why I didn't like soccer. I just couldn't have any fun with that sport. I do remember that when I was here, there was no solar panels or parking space around here. It was all field. And neither was this fence either. And over here we have the auditorium, which, to my knowledge, was completed sometime early this decade, like either 2010 or 11. Previously, when I was in high school, of course, from 96 to 2000, we didn't have this auditorium, obviously. Instead, we did our performances in a mini stage at the cafeteria. I'm going to see if I can get a glimpse inside. surely I won't be able to see the stage. I'm just going to see through the windows. Looks nice inside. Nice statue. I like the design. Whoever did it is an artist. Well, that's as much as I can get inside the auditorium. And of course, over there is the cafeteria. Not much to say about that. For some odd reason, I don't know why, but I do remember that since '98, there was 2 vending machines over here. I don't know why such an irrelevant piece of information is still stuck in my head. Funny how the mind works sometimes, huh? And over here we have the basketball field. Ah yes, basketball is my favorite sport that I enjoy. I've enjoyed basketball since I was a kid, watching the NBA, the Lakers. I do admit that I am very rusty lately. I do also remember that I was also very good at field hockey over here. We used to play field hockey during PE. I was defense. And most of the time, our team won. I was so good at defense that I was even doing a better job than the goalie. Of course, everybody within my team liked how good I was as defense. Felt kind of like a sports star at the time. And there's the tennis field. Never really played much of tennis, really. So there's not much to say there. I also have nice memories of my friends here. And I know we haven't seen each other since graduation. And only in recent years, I found some of them on Facebook. I will admit that when social media first started, I didn't want to get on MySpace or later Facebook because I always preferred talking to people in person. I always enjoyed personal socialization, if that's what you call it. I didn't want to get too attached to social media because I didn't like the idea of just, talking to people through the internet. But then in recent years, I've joined Facebook because I thought that was my chance to search for some of my longtime friends I haven't seen during my school years. And I found a number of them. Now over here is the campus store, which I do remember was at this same spot over here when I was here in high school. Not a whole lot to say about that, really. And over here we have the classroom of what is my my best remembered teacher. Her name was Mrs. Davida Shipkowitz. And I also had her during my junior high years, which was in Hillside Junior High. At first, I didn't like her because I thought she was kind of rough, and I admit at the time I was pretty immature, and sometimes I wanted to miss out on some key assignments. She really did cared about me, and she actually pushed me to success, wanted me to pass my classes, mature more. Sometimes kept me after school. But as time went by, I started to appreciate what she was trying to do. So Mrs. Shipkowitz, if you're ever watching this video, I'd like to say thank you for putting me on the path to success. During my last school year, she retired, and we had an awesome teacher by the name of Mr. Castro. I forgot his first name. He was an awesome teacher. Last I heard, he's in Thousand Oaks. I don't know which school exactly. And over here we also have, another one of teachers I remember best was here. Her name was Mrs. Sally Clonch. And she too was from Hillside, if I remember correctly. As a matter of fact, many teachers at the time who came here when this school opened transferred from Hillside, like Mrs. Becky Harmon, Mr. Scheinberg, Mrs. Burns. They were from Hillside, and they transferred here when Santa Sue first opened its doors. I also remember that for my final project in Mrs. Clonch's class during the last semester before graduation, I did an awesome segment based on one of my favorite childhood shows, which was Beekman's World. And yes, I too have a big interest in science. And in Beekman's World, there was this one skit called Cooking with Art, where Beekman plays this character called Art Byrne. And he would do science experiments based on cooking recipes. I remember I portrayed myself as Art Byrne, and I did one experiment in which we got this huge cookie, a scoop of frozen ice cream, and we put it on top of the cookie, then pasted meringue all over it. Next, we baked it. And when we took it out of the oven, we cut it in half, and the ice cream was still frozen, solid. Everybody loved it. The teacher loved it. Everybody. That was the best school project I ever did in all my years of education. And over here, I remember back in '97, I had driver's ed for one semester, and the teacher was Mr. Helmuth. He was a pretty cool teacher. I do remember, recently I saw a video on YouTube in which some student had this promo video about the school. And to my surprise, I was, oh wow, nice doggy. Nice dog you got there. Okay, as I was talking, I saw a video on YouTube where a current student did a promo video about Santa Sue here, and I was shocked to learn that Mr. Helmuth is still teaching here. I gotta say, that's pretty impressive. Other teachers I do remember was Mrs. Carolyn Rosado and Mrs. Nancy Cisco. I know Mrs. Rosado taught history, economics, and one of Mrs. Cisco's classes I remember best was, I think it was called physical science. And I remember that we got to work with one of my favorite childhood toys called K'NEX. You know, where you can build a variety of vehicles or buildings or other interesting contraptions. I mean, K'NEX is one of the best known toys of the 90s, and I also remember having K'NEX myself too. I also built many things that were not in the in the guide of the various things you could build. I build my own custom stuff. Over here, I do remember another teacher by the name of Mrs. Wooldridge, and I had her for like one semester. No, make that 2 semesters. They were computer classes. I forgot what they were exactly, but I do remember having Mrs. Wooldridge for at least 2 semesters. You know, a funny feeling or not, whenever I come here, whenever I look down these hallways, I feel like there's a part of my teenhood self that is still present within me. I'm sure other people do have that feeling whenever they go back to a place that they once remembered from their past. I know it's been 16 years since I graduated high school as class of 2000. And I'm sure this school, a performing arts technology school, has advanced greatly since my graduation. But I am proud that I was part of the generation I was as a 90s teen. And I have too advanced in a number of aspects, personally and mentally. Well, gotta go.